Yeah, I'll say this. I'll say this. I'll make this proclamation right now. Gaming will be dead in 10 years.
YouTuber formerly known as MasterBoris AC6, the Omega the Silver the Performer. Welcome to the channel. So, as expected, I'm not too surprised. Microsoft is now in the clear of buying Activision and Blizzard as they really want to do. I paid attention to the court hearings, that went on. First off, I would like to show receipts first. First off, let's do that real quick. Real quick, we're going to show the receipts that I found on NeoGavs. Thanks, courtesy to Antonio Murray. You know what I'm saying? Chopping it up with you. You know what I mean? And we talked about it on the podcast before, what Microsoft is going to do after this acquisition. But yeah. So we're gonna go down the list. All right. This is the truth and nothing but the truth. According to these court hearings, you know what I'm saying? Or what's been going on, what's been going down before we got the news today about Microsoft's victory. And I will say that with confidence, Microsoft's victory, not yours, not us gamers. This is a major L for gamers. Major L for consumers, and I'm going to elaborate on why, which I already did in the previous video when I talked about Microsoft, and I did on my podcast with myself and Antonio. But I'm going to say it again. But I'm going to go down the list of what happened at the court hearings. Jim Ryan doesn't think Starfield exclusivity is anti-competitive. 1 million PlayStation players only play Call of Duty and nothing else. Sony's Call of Duty deals expires in 2024. Oh, perfect timing. Poorly redacted FTC docs reveal Sony's game development budget. Poorly redacted docs show how much Call of Duty is worth to PlayStation. Jim Ryan initially believed that Microsoft Activision Blizzard King purchase wasn't about PlayStation exclusivity, which I'm going to explain. Jim Ryan said publishers don't like Game Pass. Bobby Kotick agreed and called the Game Pass value destructive, which they are correct. Which I can't believe he said that. But let's move on. Sony's internal data reveals only 20% of PS5 owners own an Xbox in the US. I am one of them. Sony's internal data reveals nearly 50% of PlayStation 5 owners own a Nintendo Switch in the US. I am one of them. Sony reveals that Microsoft often blocks PlayStation Plus releases with Game Pass deals. Yeah, I've seen that happen. Matt Booty internal emails show a will to spin Sony out of business, and that's what they're going to do after they get their acquisition. Microsoft made a list of 100 plus developers and publishers for potential purposes. That's their plan. Microsoft narrowed down potential purchases to 17 targets. Phil Spencer incorrectly denied reports of Japanese acquisition. He lied in court and he got away with it, and I'm going to get to that too. A Matt Booty email revealed that Microsoft did not want to put their games on other cloud gaming services, which is also why they did what they did with they stiff arm Google Stadia to get Bethesda. Phil Spencer already decided in 2021 to make all ZeniMax games exclusive. Phil stopped Tim Stewart for publicly saying that all ZeniMax games will be exclusive. Phil Spencer lied in court about Elder Scrolls 6 exclusivity. Microsoft wanted to make Minecraft Dungeons exclusively to Xbox. Phil Spencer on Xbox fans evangelizing xCloud. Microsoft amended the contracts to make Indiana Jones exclusive. Microsoft already considered making Activision games exclusive. Xbox makes its revenue target by over $780 million. Phil Spencer proposed the idea of shutting down Xbox in 2019. All the consoles sold in 2021, Xbox had a 16% market share. Phil Spencer's email on August 26, 2022 rang alarm bells for Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan told that Phil Spencer offered Sony only old and select new games as part of the Activision Blizzard King agreement. Satya Nadella also called cloud gaming a separate market. Microsoft leadership discards Nintendo when it's looking at Microsoft Xbox success metrics. Let's see. Damn, I skipped some. Oh, there we go. Microsoft did no strategic or financial analysis before making Nintendo Call of Duty deal. Microsoft did not consult Activision before making the Nintendo Call of Duty a deal, Bobby Kotick revealed. Microsoft tried to buy Zynga, Take-Two purchased Zynga later. Microsoft agreed to an 80-20 revenue split for Call of Duty. Microsoft bought Ninja Theory for $117 million in 2018. Pete Hines suggested Deathloop's exclusivity. Kotick regrets not bringing Call of Duty to the Nintendo Switch. Bobby Kotick is open to bringing Call of Duty to Switch and cloud without Microsoft. Alright, so we have that here. Alright, now I'm going to explain to you one more time. I'm going to tell you one more time why this is not a W for us gamers. It's not. Not for me, not for you. I'm talking about the hardcore gamers out there that really about this, that really play, they grew up playing video games, their favorite hobby, and like myself. You know, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a gaming enthusiast, avid gamer myself. They're on the quest, Microsoft. They're on the quest to buy. First, they're going to leverage this Activision Blizzard deal, the company itself, to leverage the business, the gaming market, the gaming industry. And they're going to keep on buying publishers. That's what it's really about. The judge sold. Okay? The judge sold out completely. And to be honest with you, that court hearing was a waste of time. Because she probably made up her mind about Microsoft, winning this case to buy the Activision Blizzard, and not be okay with the injunction that the FTC put on Microsoft. Like, it was a done deal before the court hearing even started, because when I found out, when my friend Antonio told me that her son works for Microsoft, I said, this is rigged. This is rigged. This is rigged. This is all fixed. So why bother hearing the court hearings? Now, I heard day one. I heard day one live. Okay, of what's going on. Because the fate of gaming is in this courtroom. The fate of gaming is in this courtroom. And she had the choice to let Microsoft go through with buying Activision and Blizzard. The fate of gaming is going to turn for the worse for years to come. And I'm telling you that right now. I already said it in a previous video when I talked about Microsoft and this whole situation. You gotta understand, man, they want to buy out the market, so they're the only ones on top. They are the leader of the gaming market by buying stuff, not competing, buying stuff because they can. They got the money to do so. They can't compete. They can't bring quality games into their brand. Can't program for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Without the help of third-party supporters. But all they really doing is literally putting, companies and publishers in foreclosure. That's what they plan on doing. They're at the extinguished part. I told you that business model on my podcast when I was chopping it up, you know, and Antonio was explaining too. Embrace, extend, extinguish. They're at the extinguish part. Okay? They're at the extinguish part. And they're going to extinguish the majority of the gaming market, and they want to be the only ones left standing. That's their plan. The judge made the narrative that it was about Call of Duty. It was not about Call of Duty. Okay? It was not about Call of Duty. This is bigger than Call of Duty. This is about Microsoft killing all the birds with one stone. The Activision Blizzard gave them a confident boost and also leverage to say, hey, I have all of this and I can buy all of you. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And they really think they're putting chicken nuggets with some hot sauce on them combos, but they're really not. And you gamers out there think that this is a W for you, you are sadly delusional. Sadly delusional. Ain't no way you think this is a W for you. This is a W for Microsoft only. But as us consumers, nah. They did this. Microsoft did this because they want to block Apple, which I'm hearing rumors Apple is going to come to the gaming market and have their own console, for getting Call of Duty themselves. Also to devalue Japanese games. Like this one right here, for example. Like, under Microsoft, you're not going to get really quality games. You're going to get games like that new Fable game that they just put out on a trailer. The game's dropping. That dropped. Got women looking masculine, and chicks hardly have no teeth. You want that to be your king? You want Sega to be under Microsoft? My boy Sonic, he ain't gonna be Sonic no more. He gonna be Sonic. He gonna be green, not blue. You really want that? You really want them to buy every company, every publisher? Because that's what it's really all about. And I'm tired of explaining to y'all, because a lot of people watch the video that when I explain everything that they're doing, that I drove that home, didn't even watch the entire video. I checked my analytics. Y'all probably watched approximately 2 to 5 minutes of the video. That 30-minute video when I was talking about Microsoft. And not even I'm not even gonna don't get me started on the podcast I done on them with Antonio. We told you this was gonna happen if they do get Activision and Blizzard. Like, y'all don't even get the big picture. Y'all think, I mean, y'all can play Call of Duty now. I don't know why people saying on Twitter, yeah, now we can play Call of Duty. What was stopping you before this acquisition that's about to, be official? What was stopping you? And they're pretty much lying to Nintendo about this deal, and they're just gonna take a fine for it and pay off. That was just for Nintendo to. I mean, I can't believe Nintendo is following Microsoft like a sad puppy. And I also would like to hold Sony accountable too. But I would also have to give props to Sony. They're the only gaming company that was standing against this, besides the FTC. But here's the thing. Uh-oh. That's him right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the
perfect timing.
Yeah, when you look at the demographics, and when you live in reality, like, for example, if you know anybody from the younger generation, and this is my real concern. You know what I mean?
Right.
Is that, like,
I was gonna get to that. Oops.
Yeah. So, like, the real concern I have is which, of course, it's inevitable at this point.
Go ahead and cook, because I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is that, like, the younger generation I feel that because, there's a study, demographics that say that the guys who are turning, anybody below the age of, like, 22 or 21, they're not into gaming like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we talked about this before.
So, yeah. So, like, they're nowhere near as into gaming as we were, and you can just see in the games, because look at the games in which,
like, you can feel that there's going to be a shift after this acquisition going on. I would say about 10 years from now, we're going to see something totally different, to the point where I might not even game anymore, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the games now that are popular, like Roblox and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Fortnite.
And Fortnite. Like, I remember how, for example, there's one person who I used to know of. You know what I mean? She bought her kids, a PS4 Pro, and this was like a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, those guys, it was just sitting there collecting dust, you know what I mean? And I remember she was telling me how, like, she bought them, like, Street Fighter 5, and they didn't like it, you know what I mean? And I just thought that was very strange, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because, usually, whenever kids, see a fighting game, you know what I mean, they get right down on it, you know what I mean?
Right. Shoot, I know I would. But
Yeah,
I wanna touch upon this too. A lot of people that are happy about this acquisition are not even really gamers at all. They just want to be.
They're just posers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they posers.
They are.
They just want to be added into the conversation and say, "Yeah, I played this game. I have Game Pass, but you didn't complete it, really." So that's a fraudulent thing to say.
Right.
You ain't really doing
people,
that.
You got,
You ain't really gaming like that. You just want to be in part. You just want to be part of the club.
Yeah, you got, fucking, goofy motherfuckers like, David Goofy, you know what I mean?
Talking about David Jaffe?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Who keep...
Hey, I call people out on this channel, man. I don't care, bro.
Yeah,
I don't care, bro. Because at this point, it's...
Yeah, like, he be making, like, walkthroughs, does walkthroughs make you, less of a gamer, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it always has. I mean, because
me, I like to play stuff, and I like to beat it, on my own. You know what I'm saying? We got people that really excited about this acquisition. They ain't even they're the ones that complain about Cammy's leotard outfit in Street Fighter 6, and they don't even play the game. They don't even play Street Fighter. They don't play fighting games or video games for that matter. They don't even know the bigger picture here, and I explained that. We both explained it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just it's what I gotta say about the ruling is that, like, it's ironic how exactly 30 years ago, in that same courtroom,
yep,
is the reason why emulation and piracy is still a thing today.
Yeah,
because what happened was that, like, so in 1993, there was a case of Sega versus Play.
Yeah.
For the Genesis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what ended up happening was that when they did that, Sega, of course, took them to court over it, and then what ended up happening was that, like, Sega won the case, you know what I mean? Pretty cut and dry, you know what I mean, the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was, so when Acclaim filed the appeal, right? And so So basically, that same courthouse basically said that Clay did nothing wrong. So they won the appeal and completely reversed
Mm-hmm.
the ruling, right? And so so you have the illegal ROMs are it's like, oh yeah, you can't use the ROMs, but the emulator is illegal. You know what I mean? Which is a bunch of nonsense. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, so what's the purpose of the emulator for?
Right. Like,
I mean,
that don't even make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? And so like, it just lets you know what kind of a society we live in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the justice system is a joke, bro.
Yeah,
the justice system is a joke over here.
Yeah, so like, you have these companies wasting millions of dollars, fighting, emulation and piracy. You know what I mean? Because of that same exact courthouse. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
From back in '93. 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
How ironic is that?
Today.
How ironic is that? That in a sheer irony, that same exact.
This is history, guys.
Yeah, that same exact courthouse. You know what I mean? Made the wrong ruling back in '93, and 30 years later, in 2023, man, fucked the industry up again. Twice in a row.
It's fair game from Microsoft. And like I was saying early in this video, this is not a W for gamers, only a W for Microsoft.
Right.
It just, I don't know why people can't understand that, later on down the line, you're not going to be able to own anything with the practices they're about to do in the next maybe 5-10 years from now. With this whole cloud services, gaming service, subscription, Netflix standard of gaming, where physical copies like this ain't going to matter. So, it's all part of the plan. They're using Activision Blizzard, and I would say Nintendo to leverage the business.
Yeah, it's like, because because the thing about it is that both Nintendo. Because the thing about it, what separates Sony from the other two is that Sony's literally the only publisher. I mean, the only platform holder that can compete on its own merits.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Nintendo,
they was the only one that stood for something.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because Microsoft, what merits do they have? And Nintendo, what merits do they have? You know what I mean? Nintendo, is not in the AAA, space. They're not, pushing technology forward. You know what I mean? They're not pushing, graphics technology forward. You know what I mean? They're not pushing sound technology forward. You know what I mean? So they're not doing any of that. You know what I mean? And Nintendo, those guys, you know what I mean, especially these days, they mainly appeal mostly to, and this is why they have, such a, dedicated fan base, is that a lot of those guys, you know what I mean, are the lowest common denominator. You know what I mean? They're not sophisticated, you know what I mean? A challenge to them is like, a pandemic to them,
Yeah.
So you put a game like you put a game like like Judge Eyes or Law of Judgment, man. You know what I mean? Those guys, they can't play games like that.
Or fighting games for that matter.
Or fighting games, they can't play fighting games like that. You know what I mean? And and then of course the recent statistic came out that 51%. Well, here in America, 51% of Switch owners, man, you know what I mean, are women.
Yep.
So you look at a chart, and it speaks to the audience. I mean, because you look at Look at the number one Nintendo. Look at the
Like a
top.
lot of women are playing video games more than ever. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that like it just speaks to the audience.
Right. I understand what you're saying. You know,
Yeah.
there's a certain feel, certain type of energy that how these games are being made today. You know, and
Right.
what they're trying to like sell it for.
Yeah. So it's not like these guys, you know, they don't make like if you look at the top games, you know, like games like Bayonetta, you know what I mean? You know,
Mm-hmm.
the install base that large,
Mm-hmm.
but yet Bayonetta barely does 1 million copies.
Right.
I mean,
it doesn't add up to me.
So what does that say about? So you can't count on Nintendo to lead the industry. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
I mean, those are just facts. I mean, I don't give a shit how Nintendo fans feel about that, but those are just facts. You know what I mean? Because in order to be the de facto standard, is exactly what it means. That means that in every genre, you make every genre better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like PlayStation is the only platform that does that.
Right.
You know what I mean,
they got the games. They got the games.
Look at fighting games. You know what I mean? Ever since fighting games were focused on PlayStation, the fighting game genre is now prominent again, right?
Yeah, because Microsoft, Xbox, they don't give a crap about fighting games. They barely acknowledge Dead or Alive, which they moved the Xbox 360.
Right. Yeah, the original one, and
the original, yeah.
And,
Killer Instinct would be more prestigious if that was the case, if they did care, but they don't. They don't care about games, really. Period.
No, I don't, because
it's just the business.
It explains why they launched the Xbox Series the way they did, because their real motive, as revealed since 2019,
yep,
was to start buying up the business.
Yep,
and they didn't launch the system with
spit out games. Sony out of business. I read that to y'all earlier, guys.
That's the first time ever in gaming history in which a platform has launched without an exclusive title. You know what I mean? And that was the Xbox Series platform, and that was by design, because it was just to Microsoft, the Xbox Series was just a filler, for the industry to save face that they are in tune with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's our platform, you know what I mean? Please support us and all this other shit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yet in reality, you know what I mean, since 2019, they've been drafting up plans to buy up the entire business.
The entire business, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we've been trying to tell you. This ain't nothing. Ain't got nothing to do with Call of Duty. It's bigger than that. I keep telling y'all that.
It's the entire business.
I keep telling y'all that. If y'all follow me on Twitter, y'all already know what I was saying.
The entire business.
But some people that know that we know, but their voices ain't really being heard, man.
Yeah, it's the entire business, because
they ain't being heard.
The reason why they started with Activision Blizzard first is because of the price.
Yep.
Because the logic is, okay, well, if you let us buy the world's largest third-party publisher, then what's to say that we can't buy everybody else?
And I also think they had something on Bobby Kotick as well.
Well, I mean,
because it was like, well, if you don't let us buy your company, we're gonna let all your stuff that you've been doing out.
Yeah, I mean that may be the case. That may be.
I believe so.
Well. Yeah, I mean that may be the case. I mean, because you probably got some guys in there who are like, hey, let's leak, this and that over to Microsoft and stuff like that, and
I
That
believe
might
so.
be the case. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that may not come out for like the next, you know, 10, 20 some years, unless somebody does a tell-all book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All Microsoft doing is buying up the past, right?
Yep.
And they're not buying the future. And
Flipping houses, man.
it's something to think about because
Mm-hmm.
this has always been Microsoft's thing. Is that Microsoft has always been trying to buy just their entire business. They've always been trying to buy up shit that, for the sole purpose of not having, to compete against them. You know what I mean? Like they tried to buy Discord.
I said that earlier, and look how when they bought Skype, look how that turned out.
Right. So like
Skype was off the chain until Microsoft bought everything they touched turned into shit.
Right, and then it gave rise to Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp. You know what I mean? And
everything they touch, bro.
Google Hangouts for
your
a while.
favorite games are going to be downgraded and devalued under their rule. I'm telling you this right now, guys.
Yeah,
it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, I mean, but we gotta say it for what it is. I mean, the reason why Microsoft is still even in the game, what they are is just due to gamers not being that bright.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Y'all not that bright.
So it's like, in any other business,
y'all just know about the results. Y'all don't even know about the power moves. That's it.
When they bought Skype, motherfuckers just upped and left. You know what I mean? And went to alternatives.
Yeah.
Everybody. It seems like in every other area, Microsoft tries to get into,
want to be
like when they tried, when they tried with Zoom,
yeah,
and Windows Phone and Skype, and what ended up happening is that it never worked because people understood Microsoft for who they really are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're saying that what I think you're trying to say, which I said this before in the previous video, that if there is ever a video game crash, it's gonna be Microsoft's fault.
Yeah, I mean it's looking that way because now it's gonna be now we're gonna see who's gonna sell out. I mean,
yeah, who's gonna sell out? Who Sega? I'm looking at Sega first. Sega first because they're talking about some not now. I'm like, what do you mean not now?
Right, you know what I mean, and I mean, because I've never said this before. I'm gonna say it now because if you look at the timeline, it matches up to what I'm about to say.
Right.
So you go back to 2019
mm-hmm.
with all those, all those companies that Microsoft, wanted to buy, right?
Right.
And Sega was one of them.
Yeah.
And
I saw it. Mm-hmm.
And it became like, and they showed, and I found it very interesting how in 2021, Toshihiro Nagoshi left Sega around that same time.
Oh yeah, one of the big players.
The biggest one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sure did.
He left around that same time.
He thought
So
he thought Microsoft was going to buy Sega then.
was yeah, and so he left. He didn't no questions asked.
He just
I,
dipped.
I, I just found it very odd how he just up and left. I mean, like I had to think, I'm like, man, what in the world?
But it adds up because of what you just said.
Right, right. When you look at the timeline, it matches up. That
Because a lot of things gotten, during this court hearing, a lot of things got exposed.
yeah, sure did. Yeah,
And
sure
there's a
did.
lot of people that don't know about it. I went on a rundown, but link in the description below if y'all want to see it. I put it down there in the description of this video if y'all want to see it. But
So
and that's what's going to happen. If Microsoft continues to do what they do, devaluing these Japanese games, like I was saying earlier.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
To wrap this up, guys, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. We told you so, bro.
Mhm.
We told you so. Me and him.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'll say this. I'll make this proclamation right now. Gaming will be dead in 10 years.
Yeah.
This is it. Because not just because of this,
Nah.
but because of the sum of all parts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not getting new people. Everybody says, "Oh man, yeah, the gaming is bigger than ever." That's a bunch of BS. Because they're using numbers from mobile. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're not using console. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not getting new. We're not getting younger people interested in consoles.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm saying it.
Like the
In
average
real
person.
time.
Yeah, the average person that is interested in a console, you know what I mean, is in their is in their 30s. You know what I mean? Like, teenagers are on social media all the time.
Yep. TikTok.
TikTok, you know what I mean? Uh, YouTube shorts, you know what I mean, shit like that. That's what they're about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're not about gaming like that.
Yep.
And so when them motherfuckers, when they get older, you know what I mean? They're not interested. They're not gonna fill the void. So when like you, Boris, you know what I mean? When you reach your 40s, you know what I mean?
Back in my day, we had Nintendo. Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, we ain't gonna be nobody behind you.
Right.
Ain't gonna be nobody behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I know that for sure.
you got. The only one who can, even if you look at the Switch, you know what I mean, the average person that plays Switch is in their 30s. So you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like in Japan, they say mostly women and children are filling the gap for the Switch.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot. It's a lot of that.
Yeah. And that's why there's word now that Sony is trying to get Roblox on PlayStation, and yeah, it's just due to a lack of diversity on Sony's part. You know what I mean? Sony's just been focused on the mostly rated M for mature audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, we definitely got to hold Sony accountable for this, especially what I'm saying, not being at the court hearing, when the FTC You know, because Jim Ryan, he was doing a pre recording video, and I'm just like, then again, I'm just like, he probably knew that the judge was gonna, you know, rule that there wasn't gonna be no injunction.
He had no faith in him.
He had no
Yeah.
faith in it.
Nah, he had no faith in him because
He was just like, bump it. I'm just gonna do a pre-recorded video.
yeah, he that was during the disposition by the Microsoft lawyer, and mistake that he made. Now we can say this now because it's about you know, I mean we don't know, but I think the reason why he said what he said, as far as how he doesn't find the Bethesda, you know, acquisition, you know, not competitive. That's when I think that's where Jim Ryan made his biggest mistake.
Yeah.
And you know, I would not be surprised if it ultimately cost him his job. But I mean, I'm just you know, when I was looking at this case, and I'm just amazed at how stupid, you know, people in the industry really are. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Jim could have easily said, you know, when he asked about the Bethesda deal, he should define. I mean, he did define it during, you know, later on, but the thing about it was that was one of the reasons what caused the FTC to lose.
Yeah.
Because of Jim Ryan.
Yeah.
Because in his video disposition,
shoot, the FTC was rooting for the gamers, you know, in their part, you know, in a way.
Jim in his disposition, he said that Bethesda, he didn't feel Microsoft buying Bethesda was, you know, was anti-competitive. And it's every bit anti-competitive.
It is.
Because you should have, you know, focused the narrative on Microsoft buying publishers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really what the true narrative is.
Right. You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I was trying to tell in the previous video when I was talking about this acquisition and the podcast we did together. Yeah, that's why I was saying earlier. It's not about just Call of Duty.
Right. You know, there's a huge difference between buying a publisher and buying a studio. You know,
right.
Buying a studio.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, buying a studio is akin to renting a house. You know what I mean? Because when you buy a studio, you're buying it for the talent.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like when you rent, it's like akin to renting a house. When you rent a house, most people who put houses up for rent, they do background check.
Right.
Because they want to make sure, you know, they want to know who's living in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they're renting out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, you know, when you buy a publisher, it's akin to buying the land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, when you buy the land,
they own that joint.
You own it. You know, you own it forever. You know what I mean? You don't care who's on it.
Simple, guys.
You know, you can.
That's
you
what
can
we was
tell.
trying to tell you. That's what that's what Microsoft is going for, man. For here on out.
You can tell whoever, whatever, to up and leave at any time. You know what I mean? And you don't care who's living, you know, because you know ultimately you own the land. So that's what Microsoft is doing. They're just all Microsoft is doing in the email. You know, it says it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Spend only out of business. You know, basically.
Yep. Link in the description if you want to check it out. I already got the link down there.
Yeah, you know.
Where I post the receipts.
They, you know, this is such like Microsoft. They're such the biggest haters of Sony. You know what I mean? They're going after any and everybody who, deals with them. You know what I mean? To, wedge, put a wedge between their partnerships and, with the RGG series, they know that.
And Persona.
Yeah, Persona. They know that
Games that have been nurtured by PlayStation.
Right. Any and everything that's been nurtured by PlayStation, Microsoft is trying to go after.
Yeah, they want the leftovers. We already had it.
Yeah, they want the leftovers.
Sony already had it.
But
Sony already had it. Years.
Right. Yeah. So everything that Sony has nurtured, you know what I mean? Sony has made hot. They want. You know what I mean? You look at fucking Square Enix, you know what I mean? In their bullshit ass, letter, to want to buy, Square Enix, they called it Project Phoenix. You know what I mean? What kind of, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Something ridiculous, that's something which, really only something which some fucking bullshit mayonnaise motherfucker would come up with. Project Phoenix. You know what I mean? Project Phoenix. You know what I mean? You believe that? Like, you know what I mean? So
we've been trying to tell y'all this, man. It's only gonna get worse from here.
They call them that. Project Phoenix.
Gaming is about to be so low tier if Microsoft get all the gaming share, buying all these publishers.
I mean, when you look at it, people have been saying for years that you got these punk asses out here trying to defend gaming, like, oh man, yeah, it's not going anywhere, it's the greatest it's ever been.
Cap.
All that nonsense.
Cap.
It's not, because everything's just falling apart. Any and every way you look at it.
Y'all, I mean, what else I gotta tell you? I mean, go back and watch the video that I did about Microsoft and the podcast I did with Antonio. I mean, evidences are there, and the link in the description below, where I have the receipts of what's going on, what was said in that court hearing. Hey, only time will tell how gaming will be like in the next 10 to 15 years, man. I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. For better or worse. Let's have a conversation. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I appreciate y'all for watching this video if you made it this far. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.